Hello, greetings and welcome. Queen City Psychic Medium here, doing business as CINCY Psychic LLC. And in this video, I would like to talk about reincarnation, reincarnating in soul groups, family, perhaps tuning in to a past life and maybe you don't even realize it. For instance, if you have a soul calling to do something, or when things are familiar, and not necessarily if we go somewhere and we say, wow, I've seen this before, but I mean like just interest or, like the people that can just hop on a piano and just start playing it. It's like, wow, you never had a lesson. So actually, I'll share something with you real quick right now before I forget, because I totally forgot about this. My son, I'm all about drummers. I'm all about drummers in my life. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, so we had an old drum set in the basement. That was my husband's. And my son, we got it out for him because he became interested in drums suddenly, or we were just trying to get him interested in stuff too. So anyway, we pulled it out and he started playing it. And we put on some Black Sabbath, and this kid never had a lesson in his life, never got on a drum set in his life. I think it was band that he was doing like something with band, and I think maybe he had to choose an instrument, or I don't know. Anyway, so we put on some Black Sabbath, and he had heard it a little bit, but we didn't play it all the time or anything when he was around. Usually when I was jamming, he was, at my mother's house, right? Because that's the way you do it when you got little kids, right? They go to grandma's. So anyway, we were like, oh my God, how did this kid learn to do this? And we're looking at each other and we're looking at him and we're like mesmerized. Okay. And we said, where'd you learn to do that? And he's just hitting it, man, jamming. He was right on it with the beat, man, with Black Sabbath. And he went, back in the 60s, man, when I was a drummer in a band. And he didn't even realize he said that. Okay, he did not think. It just came out of his mouth. And I'm going to point this out. When he was banging them drums, he was in a meditative state doing that. That's what happens, okay? Okay, you're with the muse, all right? You're channeling. You are in a meditative state. So I just want to share that real quick because I just remembered that. So I believe he was actually tuning into maybe a past life. But, wow, he'd have been born pretty quick, like what, 30 years? That can happen though, and I do believe that we do have to wait about 30 years, maybe on even up to 100 before you come back. Okay, so it just depends when soul's ready and what's going on with that. Lots of times we go to the other side, we wait for certain people to come and join us, and then we kind of like make our plans together, go over things, and then we hop in the amnesia room and we come back together, right? And are just born mainly in the same families. It doesn't always have to be that way. That doesn't mean every single person in your family has been with you every life. It doesn't mean that, okay? But there's going to be certain people that are. And that would be the people that you feel more of a bond with, close to. It can even be people, you might have family members and you guys kind of rub each other the wrong way, or there's just something about them or about you, or you just don't click. That could have something to do with your astrology, numerology, or it could be, there's different reasons, okay? Or it could be, some past life thing that's not completely settled, or it can just be a personality clash, okay? So anyway, so let me get started on me since I shared my story of my son first, okay? So, my first experience, I guess I would say, is I'm like about, 4 years old, pre-kindergarten, and my mom asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. Or I said, I don't remember exactly how it occurred. if I brought it up. I think she brought it up, though. And the show, The Flying Nun. I let her know that I wanted to be like the Flying Nun, and at first she thought it was about flying, and I explained to her it was more about what she was wearing, that I was supposed to dress like that. And my mother said, and I really felt this pull, that's where I was at. Okay, that's where I'd probably be. Okay, I was tuning, but I wasn't tuning future. I was tuning the past. Okay, and my mother said, "No, you don't want to be a nun, because back get old school here. They trim your bangs, and if they had to do that, if they had to trim your bangs, they trim them up to here. Okay, they'd hit your knuckles with rulers, over just horrible things too. Okay, they were just horrible. Some of them. Okay, they'd make them kneel on garbage cans. These are stories my mother told me that she experienced. Okay, so she was like, "No, you don't want to go there." And now we know more about the Catholic Church and all that. So we don't even have to go there. So anyway, I really tuned into that. All right, so then I'm going to have to say it started hitting me about age 23, where I just be moving about with life, walking across the room. And suddenly I would feel myself, I would think that I'd just be totally tuned in, and I would be seeing, I would not jump in the floor and start doing this, but I would be combat crawling, getting these flashes. Okay, and it would just be war all around me, man. I could, I could hear it. All right, and I'd actually have to grab onto something and go, wow, what the heck's that? Because I'd get a little dizzy from it. All right, and I had that occur, gosh, off and on for at least a year. Okay, and when you go through psychic tune-ins, psychic experiences, as you're being prepared, you will go through gushes where things will happen in gushes to you. Okay? And that's always the way it's been for me. And, and that's just preparing you for what you're about to do in the next chapter and what's to come. Those gushes. Okay? So I would have those flashes, and I knew I was a dude. I knew I was a man when these flashes would occur. All right? Then I would also walk around. I had like a 2-year period of this about the same time. I never put anything together. I don't know for whatever reason, because I always listened to 60s music, and I'd go, I'm stuck in the 60s. I'm stuck in the 60s. When people would be like, you always listen to 60s music, okay? But it tells a story, and I was born in the 60s as well. And then there's other reasons, which is a whole nother video. Okay, but I thought that maybe I was in Vietnam and died and, came back too fast or something when this was occurring. It was just really weird. So then I'd walk around about the same time period. It overlapped, like in the middle, because it started with what I thought was Vietnam, okay? What I thought was Vietnam flashes. I had those for like at least a year, and then before those ended, I'd be like, it just come out of my mouth. I didn't even think about it, okay? And I was always happy-go-lucky, playful. Let's joke around. Let's cut up and laugh. Let's be happy and optimistic. I was always like that. Okay, so people always knew me that way. So I had a dry sense of humor too, as I do now, right? And I'd go, I'm going to start a revolution, and people go, are you? Okay, all right, cool, or just whatever. No big response or reply. Okay, but I do that, and there was a couple times where I'd go, I'm going to start a revolution, want to be in it? And people would just go, yeah, sure. Only one person questioned me. Okay, and I did this for like a year and a half, 2 years. Okay, and just here and there, not constant. All right, and one person said, I said, I'm going to start a revolution. Want to be in it? And he said, well, what's it about? And I said, I don't know. Nobody's really asked me. I think it's about a new religion. Okay, and so anyway, so I'd go around saying that. Okay, so years pass. I'm in my early 30s, right? I go and I see a woman who, her title is a channeler. Her name was Deandra. She was from Chicago, and she was an awesome channel. And she was in a car wreck, and she got really, really hurt. I think she died for a while, and she was laid up for like a year or something, maybe more. But anyway, she came back being able to channel. But you know what, people? When something like that happens to you, you have nowhere else really to turn except for inward, okay? So then you get real spiritual, because the truth is the answers are within. Because y'all can go, give me the answers out here and out here. But when your soul's not ready for it, people can tell you, and you're not even going to get it. It's going to go right over your head because your soul's not ready for it, or you're too impatient, and you can't even grasp one little piece of it because you got to hear this. And that's not what you're ready to be hearing. Or if you already know it, why somebody else got to tell it to you? So just know when your soul's ready is when it happens. Okay? So I started my reading with Deandra, and I watched her channel first, and then I booked an appointment with her when she was in town. And so she does my reading, and as she moved into my energy, she went, whoo, you are really connected with your higher self. You can do what I'm doing, and you can do it better. You could be reading me. And I was just like, oh, okay. I thought she's exaggerating. I don't think I can do what you do. But although I felt it, but I held back and I wasn't ready for it at that time. Okay. So the first thing she got, ready for it? She told me I was a nun in the 1600s. Saint Evangeline. Saint Evangeline. Okay? Over in Italy. Okay? I'm going to stop right there with Deandra before I move on to the next life she told me. I'm having acid reflux kick in because I had pizza earlier. But it was good. Okay. Okay. When I met my first husband and we had been dating for a while and we were taking a shower, I had a whole deja vu past life tune-in where we were in a stall. I had a flash. We were in a stall outside in Italy taking a shower. Okay? It was not an indoor shower. And I actually got like dizzy a little bit with that. So that was a trip. So I did have a flash in Italy, but I was not the nun then. At least I don't think I was. And I actually did a past life regression thing and had some stuff come through with that too. I will not go into that right now because I want to move into my next thing that Deandra told me. Then Deandra tells me about how I fought in the Civil War. Okay? I had thought I was in Vietnam, and I shared that with her. And she's like, no, it was a Civil War. I fought with my brother. He died. I got lung disease, and I came back. I fought for the North, as my family did. We're going to talk about that, because my ancestors fought in the Civil War. Okay? And she said I became like a Quaker or a Mormon, or she really said Quaker. She didn't know. She said she didn't think it was Amish. Okay, and I just could not understand mankind and the destruction and the evil, and I was really bothered with my brother dying. Okay, when she told me that, I knew that My son in this life was that brother in the Civil War. And he would show me things as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, okay, that he would know. I would know. You don't say a word to a kid like that, okay? But I could see with him, he was all military man by before he was even 8, 6, 7, 8. I knew it. And just some of the things he would say, and when he was born, oh yeah, let me back it up. When my baby was born, and I'm going to go into this since it's a past life tune-in, okay, I would say so, because I know I've been here before, rather than a multidimensional just oneness knowing. It was probably just it could have been both, could have been, both together. When I gave birth, I didn't think about it, man. I just stood up on that bed and went into a squatting position, and the nurse went, and my mother went, "What are you doing?" And I went, "I'm squatting my baby out." And they stopped me, and I just got in that position at least 2 more times naturally, and giving birth was really, really, really rough. And if they'd have just let me, because when I did it, they put you on your just on your back. Can you at least incline people, right? Okay, but anyway, I let them know if you would have just let me squat, I could have squatted the baby out, okay, instead of them having to get forceps, all right, because that's horrible for a baby to go through, okay. So anyway, so I tuned that, right? All right, so my son felt like I recognized him. I knew he was my baby in this life and loved him like he was my baby, of course. You love him with all your heart. But I knew he was my brother. I looked at him, I was like, oh, that was my brother. He was my brother. And I always saw him. I still do. It's like, I remember him being my brother. Okay? As I still know he is my child. Okay? So anyway, I thought that was a trip, and Deandra confirmed those things for me. All right? Okay. So then let's move into family history. And I will go ahead and say Resnick was the last name. He was a Hebrew dude. Is an ancestor of mine that fought on the side of the North in the Civil War. So I don't know, and I'd have to look up some more history. My uncle knows a lot of stories. I have all the documents with the names and birth certificates, death certificates, and all that stuff, those records. I don't have all the stories, though, or any photos at this point. All right. So anyway, I have always had a fear of water. And when I was like 5, I thought it was for this reason. Because when I was 5, when we lived in Clifton on Flora Avenue, the girl across the street that was 8, okay, bully, all right, she held my face under the water faucet outside with my head back. And look, I know kids are cruel, huh? All right, but they make you tough, all right? Today y'all are a bunch of wusses, man. All right, anyway, she held me under the water faucet with my head back. I could hold my nose or my breath at first, and but then I went into a panic and started crying. I was choking. So then my mom's youngest sister, who was also 8, just 3 years older than me, caught her doing it and set her straight. She didn't hurt her, but she grabbed her and pulled her off of me and threatened her. So anyway, I thought maybe my fear of water was over that. Okay. Then when I got older, I also thought, what? Maybe I drowned in the Titanic, because my mother also had a fear of water. And then as I got older, I thought, when I started researching and learning things, I thought, maybe what's it called, man? The Inquisition? Where they got the witches and burned them and drowned them, that they would throw them in water in a burlap bag with a cat, and the cat would scratch them up, okay? or they would just drown them too without a cap. Okay. So I thought, did something like that happen to me? So I had always known that my family, my paternal, maternal, so my father's father's mother, I always knew that we were Native American. Okay. And Chief Redbird Bowles, I am a descendant of him. He's a grandfather. I can't remember off the top of my head how many greats. His white name was Aaron Brock because back in the day, you had to have a white name or you would be totally shunned, right? Okay. So anyway, I come to find out he was murdered by 2 white men and thrown into the river, and he drowned. Okay. What's up with, I don't know. I'm not saying I was him, but I'm going to get to more of my point with this as well as we move along. Okay. Now, when I was 27 years old and I had my memories, premonitions and memories, I broke my leg was broken in 5 places with a compound fracture. A compound fracture means it went through your skin. It went through my pants. Yeah, you can see my bone sticking out of my pants. My tibia. Okay, that's the main bone in your lower leg there. Okay. Anyway, so that was broken in 3 places. My foot unhinged, so my ankle came off and hung down. When they picked me up, they didn't know it was off. That threw me into shock. Well, my foot just went and dropped. And then my fibula was broken in 1 spot. Okay? So 5. So now we're going to flash back to spaceship memory. I only did 2 of those. I didn't go over totally being briefed or debriefed, being briefed again, and then debriefed for triggers so that I would have dreams and certain things would happen so that I would trigger to take care of things that I needed to take care of to survive, right? And, all right, so in those memories, because this is important with this story here, Dr. Burke, see, I have these memories where I talk to Dr. Burke, and that's how I know that things are going to happen because I remember talking to him about them. These also could be pre-life memories before I was born, pre-birth memories. I talked to Deandra, the channeler, about that. She could not get any ET stuff on me. That other famous psychic that cost a whole bunch of money could not get any ET stuff on me. Okay, so I do want to throw that in there. So anyway, Dr. Burke, he says, this is all I remember, that I would remember. We're so sorry it happened so close to Christmas time, but they tell us you'll be all right. And I went, what? And he looked down and I couldn't remember. And I went, oh yeah, do I have to do it? Does it have to happen? And he said, well, we looked everywhere we could and there's just no way we can stop it, but you're going to be all right. And you get a little money too, so you can replace all the things that were stolen from you. And because I lost everything that I owned, okay, from some criminals. So anyway, that's okay. They got theirs. It was worth stopping them from going on and hurting other people. Okay, giving up everything that I owned. So anyway, almost everything. So anyway, a year and a half before my leg was broken, these memories of Dr. Burke saying this hit me. It's September. It's September 1990. I'm going, something bad's going to happen. Something horrible is going to happen. Something bad right before or after Christmas. Because Dr. Burke said, we're so sorry it happened so close to Christmas time. Okay, and so Christmas came and went. And then what did I get? From my husband at that time, who actually I was getting ready to divorce, and then some other friends. Nothing happened. Nope, nothing happened. Okay. Next September, it kicks back up. Something horrible is going to happen before or after Christmas. Something horrible. What happens? December 15th, I get hit by a car. Okay? So, Where I got hit by a car, it was like 2 weeks before that, okay, when I was with friends after work, because I got hit by a car in a parking lot, okay. My chain belt, see, I've brought up about how you get messages from jewelry. My chain belt that I wore, and it had a piece of aquamarine hanging from it. It was a pretty thick silver chain, and then I hung an aquamarine on it. And I was walking through the parking lot like 2 weeks before I got hit by the car. We were going to go eat at Perkins, and my chain belt came off and hit the ground. And I said, oh, so I knew because that would happen. I don't even know how I knew. It wasn't like it was spelled out or anything. It was just like, puff, it's there, okay? You don't know how you know, or even how, I couldn't even tell you how it came. I just knew. Something awful is going to happen, and I told everybody something horrible is going to happen. I'm scared, okay? No, it's not. Guess what? The exact spot where my chain belt came off and broke is where I got hit by the car. What was happening? On a conscious level, I was not aware that Great Spirit and my angels and guides were preparing me that you are getting hit by a car. You know how people just know? Like this little boy that in my son's Cub Scout pack, he died in a car wreck, hit head on by a truck when it was bad weather, snow and ice. And his mother, I remember at the funeral, she had written something out and they read it for her. And she said, the day you were born, when you were born and I held you in my arms, I don't want to start crying. She knew that she wouldn't have him very long. He died when he was 8. I don't want to cry over that. Anyway, so we know things. So Spirit prepares us just like they did in my one video I told you about Julie. When she knew that her daughter, she had dreams, premonitions of her daughter getting in a car with a man. And she'd go, don't get in the car with him. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. In the dream, she had at least 3 or 4 dreams, okay? So, Spirit works in very mysterious ways. And it happens on a level that you don't really understand as a human on this 3D conscious level, okay? So anyway, I just had to tell y'all about my leg. Sorry, I almost cried over thinking about it. That was so sad when that little boy died. And his little brother broke both of his legs too. And his grandma couldn't even come to the funeral because she was in the hospital. Anyway, alrighty. Because nothing harder than losing a kid, people. Alrighty. My next story, wow. So I told you about my broken leg. So let me throw in that my maternal grandmother, she also broke her leg, compound fracture in the same exact spot, same leg, right leg, tibia, same spot, compound fracture. She also did. Okay. Now I don't know her numerology or any of that stuff. Okay. But I thought that was interesting, so I'd throw that in there. All right. So dig this. This was just this past October 30th, right? Today is December 21st. Happy winter solstice. Jupiter, Saturn alignment. Okay. So we were having dinner at a restaurant, and my father starts telling us about my maternal. This is the Native American side, okay? Maternal. My great grandmother's. I don't know if it was her grandmother. I think it was her great grandmother, but it could have been her great. I don't know. I didn't look it up on the documents before I did this video because I feel like digging them out. They're in a special place. But anyway, cannot tell you her name. But she died when she was 107 years old. She was a Muskogee Indian, all right? And she died at age 107, man. Wow, that's old. And she, It was in Kentucky because I actually just checked this out with my father the other day. Because the Muskogee Indians, those are Creek Indians. They're from Florida originally. And they got chased off, ran up north by the white man that came, or the Spanish. I don't know, whoever came. I think it was the Spanish that ran them off a little bit. And like North Carolina, it might have been South Carolina. They kind of went there, and then they ended up running to the hills of Kentucky in Tennessee. These people, right? So anyway, so she had like a little cabin in Kentucky, just like a little one-room cabin with a wood-burning stove in it, in the middle of it. And it was in the winter. And so she fell and broke her leg and could not get up to put wood in the wood-burning stove. And she lay there and froze to death overnight. They found her the next morning. Okay. She was 107. I know that's the third time I said it, but that just blows my mind. But you see how healthy and how much longer people could live when it was just about nature and not pollution and all the crap they do to the food and just, and this, right, the vaccines, right? And just all of it, okay? And the fear and the stress, and, just being couch potatoes and, just everything, right? So I did want to share that. I thought it was a trip because I was like, wow, I just really like going over the ancestry stuff at this point in my life because it's very interesting. So y'all might want to think about finding some stuff out about your ancestors because, birds of a feather flock together, right? And with that, so you might see that there's just like the same patterns, the same similarities, all that stuff, with your ancestors and stuff. And also with your spouse's family. Lots of times there's some stuff going on there too where we've been connected with them throughout lives. Some of those family members, okay? Now, I do want to throw in numerology because when I had my numerology chart done, because those surnames pass on down, right? I thought after I was thinking about everything that I just did the video on, reincarnation, how, we do stick with certain people, through the thick and thin of it and just throughout, right? Numerology with the vibration of names, like surnames, I think that's very interesting too. And that might just have something to do with the patterns, the similarities as well. Okay? So you might want to take a look at that because some names can vibrate on, negative, pessimistic levels or just whatever, right? So you might want to look at that. You might want to look at it before you get married, ladies, and say, well, am I taking on this vibration? But the truth is that your main vibration is what you were born with. You can change it up though, and people will change their names. I don't care. I don't think it's too cool to do that too much. Different strokes for different folks. If you feel you need to do that, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you to sock it to, right? But however, if people are going to keep changing your name, then you got an identity issue, okay? Okay? Because for the most part, we do choose our own names before we are even born. I know that for the name that I picked for my child, because what I wanted to call him, which fits in with the name, is like a 4-syllable name. They said, well, I can't name him that, because society just wouldn't be ready for that anyway. So when he was like 3, he said, when I said, I'd always say his full name. And he said, no, you call me, the nickname, because it's shorter. That one's too long. And I said, okay. So we used that while he was, just in grade school for a while. So we do pick our own names, all right? because that is what you are going to vibrate to. You do choose your own parents. You choose when you come in here. Who are you coming in here to? Okay? You don't just randomly be bored. All right. All right. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. And it's a good time if you want to, with the cosmos and the energies right now, if you want to go ahead and start like meditating and, asking to connect with past lives and our angels and guides, or even like the family members, your loved ones in spirit. Oh, I'll share something cool with you. Jackson Barnett, he was a Muskogee. He was the first richest black man because he was a Muskogee and black mixed. He was also an ancestor of mine, not directly blood related, but his wife and daughter and him walked the trail of tears, and his wife and daughter died from the smallpox on the way, and he totally got screwed over by the government. So I think I did share that story when I was talking about white lies. I think I did. So anyway, never mind. But it's interesting to learn about your family, and you might have some famous people, or renowned people that you don't know about, right? So it is a good time to meditate and try to tune in with this stuff. Now, don't go into it too hard. Don't have too high of expectations. Just relax, let go, and let God. It's like when I sit down to read people and stuff, when they take my hand real tight, you're jamming energy. So we want to go real relaxed and stuff, right? So that's the same with your meditations and when you're asking. You just that's your intent, and it is all about intent, and then just let it go. And it might come to you when you're folding towels, when you're loading the dishwasher, when you're taking a walk, when you're taking a shower. It might even come to you at those times, because in those times, you are in a meditative state when we're doing these things, okay? And it comes when you don't really expect it. And it comes in whispers, okay? And it's very, very similar to imagination. And if you just keep practicing and just keep meditating, you're going to learn the difference. You really will, okay? But it's a very thin line between imagination and, what you get with spirit, right? With the muse, okay? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. I just want to say peace out. Christ love, Christ light, Godspeed, okay? Hang in there, people. It's going to be a really powerful year. There's going to be a lot of emotions swinging all crazy and stuff, because that's just the way it is. Keep yours in check. Don't let people drain you. Don't let people distract you. I know it can be hard to do, but it's all going to be all right. It's all about the tude, man, the attitude, okay? So for now, ciao, peace out. Ciao for now, okay?